the Son of God in the Bible?
I mean, I'm not Esau, first of all, so you can't say
What's
that
your
Romans
ethnicity?
9 is about me.
What's your ethnicity?
I mean, apparently, I'm
What's your
Irish,
dad?
French, white. I mean, whatever you want
Oh
to
yeah,
call
you Irish, you Esau. Yep, you Esau.
it. But what if I go back 80 generations and I got a black person or a Hispanic
I
person
wouldn't
or a
even
Native
waste my
American
time.
as my great great grandfather?
Hey,
Aren't I an Israelite then?
go back, and then you could join like Sakari, GOCC, or something like that. You won't come in here.
I'd be an Israelite though.
No,
If my
I would.
great great grandfather 7 generations
White
ago.
man, right? The white man is such a devil. I would never believe you. 80 generations.
Well,
Niggas ain't,
that's what you need to trace 90 generations. So
niggas
that
ain't,
you're an Israelite too.
niggas is not going back 80 generations.
Well, that means that your methodology to prove you're an Israelite is
Actually,
faulty.
the scriptures say, strive not after genealogy. So what we do in this house, we go back as far as we can. Like I think I was able to go back 5 generations. I couldn't go back 6. So I'm fine with that.
Hey, shalom, shalom. Want to start off by giving all praises unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rachakwadash. Double honors to our apostles who are elders who rule well. Blessings and salutations to you brothers out there teaching and enduring truth and sincerity. This is Ra'ab Amar for the Nebraska camp. This is Gentleman's Any for Nebraska. Yeah, man. So you see in post-production, this is a little segment from Tazariak and some Edomite, possibly, just for the sake of the argument. Yeah, man. So, you see, and I ain't gonna lie, I ain't gonna hold you. The overall discussion was real good. They was going over the Gentiles, and Tazariak was tearing his ass up, man. Just tearing him up. But a little leaven if the whole lump. So things have to be, the dross have to be eliminated. Okay. So with that being said, we're gonna go into the scripture to not support his argument. Let's see here. So in 1 Timothy chapter 1 and 4, it says, neither give heed to fables and endless genealogies which minister questions, rather than godly edifying, which is in faith, so do. So Captain Cesariak's rebuttal or cut to old boy saying, what if I'm an Israelite and I go back to 100 generations? And he tried to hop on the 100 generation thing. That dude was right. He was right. At the end of the day, I don't give a fuck if you go back 1 generation, 1,000 generations. If the lineage is right, it's right, right? But what does it mean not to go into endless genealogies, to sit here and judge somebody? Okay, well, what are your pretty much what Cesariak is holding up in place, just like these Pharisees were holding certain rules in place. You got to be circumcised. You got to be this. You got to be that. All right. So what do we judge by? All right. And the dude was eating that. He was eating. He was eating that rebuke like a G, though. I ain't gonna lie. That would make me kind of think he a Jake, man. Not because of his argument, or the vibe, but he was eating that rebuke, So it says, 1 John 4 and 1, it says, but beloved, believe not every spirit, but try the spirits whether they are of the Most High, because many false prophets are going into the world. So we try the spirit what? By the spirit. All right. And so when you try in the spirit, you got to go off the scriptures. Okay. And that's why I say, if you're able to, you're able to take the rebuke, but I don't, he was eating it. I ain't gonna say he was taking it, being edified, because he still was on that Gentile thing, trying to invite Edomites in. Really, I believe he was playing a straw man's theory. E was playing a straw man's theory. But let's get back into the subject at hand, because Tazariak said, in their house they don't do genealogies. Pretty much you got to look like an Israelite in order to be in that camp, which is off. All right, which is off. The reason why it's off, okay, I get it. You're trying to stay safe. You're trying to keep it a good visage, because you're sensual. That's my, speaking as a man, that you just don't want to look like you're inviting Edomites in. But at the end of the day, you can't. What if the Lord called an Israelite that looks like an Edomite to do this work, which happens, and you shutting the door? You can't. You're not allowed to do that. Nobody's allowed to do that. All right. So let's get it then. All right. We're gonna go into the parable, the wheat and the tare, man, because he knows that. Tazariak knows. He knows about the wheat and the tare. Okay. All right, so we're going to go into Matthew chapter 13, okay? All right, so we're going to go into Matthew 13, start at 24. It says, another parable put he forth into the king, unto them, saying, the kingdom of heaven is likened unto a man which sowed good seed in his field. Okay, and the field is the world, and a seed is representative of the nation of Israel, Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. But what we have to understand is, like I said, within that argument, the Lord is judged between, well, that's a different subject. You are who your father is. At the end of the day, that statement that Edomite made is correct. You are what your father is. So what he said is correct. Tazariak used the scriptures unlawfully and said, well, we ain't doing that because, we're not going to go back 100 generations. Look, bro, you try the spirit by the spirit, because I'm not about to sit here and try to trace the evidence to see if you're Israelite. All right, we don't got no Urim and Thummim. There's records all messed up. So at this point, all we can do is go off the spirit, okay? Because based off this parable right here I'm about to read, it's going to tell you the Lord's going to sift it out. So you got to just have faith, man. Now, you got to be prudent. I ain't saying you just let any Edomite in the camp. No, man, especially in these times, But I'm not going to flip it up and switch it and bend doctrine to make it seem like I'm right. No, we're not just going to let anybody in because there's agents, we're being infiltrated, and things of that nature. So you have to be proved. Prove thy friend first. Okay. So you have to be proved in order to, be within a circle, because we have to protect this ministry. All right. So again, now Edomite walk up, man, ain't gonna just willy-nilly, oh, you're listening, you're reading it. No, we're gonna try you, man. We're gonna try Jake too, because Jake be the main agents. But we're not gonna sit here and say no because you look like an Edomite. You know what I'm saying? Because that's how it works when you go into 5 and 6 and 7 and generation after generation. You're gonna look like a straight Edomite. He has to go back that far because look how he look. He ain't start looking like that after the second generation. You know what I'm saying? I'm not justifying him going back 80 and all, but that's not an argument, man. It's the fact that, okay, what if it's he said that, you're supposed to say that's correct, that it's possible. You know what I'm saying? But you're lying on the gospel because of your camp, your leader's standard, okay, which is off. All right. But we'll continue on. It says, but while men slept, his enemy came and sowed tares among the wheat and went his way. And that enemy is, really other nations, but mainly Esau, during slavery, chattel slavery in Babylon, hell, slavery in seed. Our seed was mingled. We mingled our seed, okay? We mingled our seed as well. Not only Esau through slavery because again, he talking about, oh, I'm going off the visage and this and that, pretty much. You're Edomite, we don't accept them. But there's slave owners that laid with Israelite women, didn't accept those kids and left them in the field, and that kid ended up doing what? Reproducing with another Israelite. If a slave, Edomite slave owner, did you know what to a Edomite to an Israelite woman, repeat that, and that woman becomes impregnated with a boy, then that boy is now a Edomite, and then when that boy that comes out, and he's going to be looking a little half and half, right? He's going to be light-skinned, fair-skinned, but he's out there in the field. He's not accepted, right? That boy then has a child with another Israelite woman. That child is going to progressively become darker and darker and darker and darker. So eventually going to look like a Jake fully, okay? But he's going to be a straight, strong-bone Edomite. But based off of Tazariak's logic, he's going to allow that dude in thinking he's an Israelite because he looks like one. Because he has a beard and this and that, and he agrees or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Which is agreement is the plausible thing. Try the spirit by the spirit. All right? Try the spirit, see it where they are of the Most High. All right? It says, but while, Salaki, verse 26, it says, but when this blaze sprung up and brought forth fruit, there appeared the tares also. And when you go into the wheat and tares look very similar. Okay, you have to walk up on it and see the difference. Okay, so the servants of the householder came and said unto him, Sir, didst not thou sow good seed in the field? From whence hath it tares? He said unto them, An enemy hath done this. The servant said unto him, Wilt thou then that we go up and gather them up? But he said, Nay. Right? So should we separate them? Should we start messing around and telling people, oh, you're not an Israelite, you're Israel? You know what I'm saying? Like, can we start separating, saying, oh, you an Edomite? That's a fact. Like, we don't know. Or we could really go about the spirit and the vicious, but, all we could do is tell you what Esau is capable of and what he would do. For the most part, we got a good idea. But if somebody come up asking for the truth, no matter what nation you are, technically we can't say no. You know what I'm saying? We got to ask you who your father is, you know what I'm saying? Now, if you say, you know for sure that you go back to this line, now we ain't going to go to endless genealogies, but we'll go into your genealogy. All right? We'll ask you, oh, my dad's German. And like he said, Irish. There you go. Irish ain't, and what's his already say? Oh, that's Edomites. No, the Moors, you know what I'm saying? The Moors, it was all in Ireland, man. Okay? The Moors was all in Europe. All right? You can't, we are to be occupied in prophecy, but you can't omit history. Okay? We are to be occupied in prophecy, but you cannot omit history. All right? And y'all are all about the law. So within the law, it tells you, well, not even the law, this is a commandment of the Lord or a statement from the Lord that you are what your father is. So you can't sit here because whatever reason that you omit that or act like that's not true. Okay? We're here to preach the gospel directly and correctly. Right? All right. It says, verse 29, it says, but he said, nay. All right. Should we gather them up? Should we separate them? But he said, nay, lest while ye gather up the tares, ye root also up the wheat with them. So why is that important? Why should we stop there and emphasize that? Because you don't know people that walk up to you that look like tares. They could be wheat, and you could be trying to separate them from the wheat and actually be pushing Israelites out that are supposed to be coming in. Okay? There's no difference from the physical battle that Paul was going through with the Gentiles of our people. They were trying to separate them, and it's like what they believe. You can't fully separate them because you'll be pushing out a lot of believers, right? And as Paul said, his hope is that he may gain the more, right? All of us, Yahushua said himself, it's his will that all flesh should be saved. Speaking of Israel, but it's a process. So you're gonna try to get as many who you can, and that's why he said that as many as are holding my hand should not fall out. Okay, and that's why people like camps like GMS is here to bring clarification to such a statement to all the Israelites out there that look like tares, man. because these guys will shut you out just like they were shutting out the Israelites that were uncircumcised, that were coming from Greek culture. They shut them out saying, oh, you ain't no Israelite unless you do this, this, and that. Or you fill these criterias. And some of the criteria were impossible to meet based off their lifestyle. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, that's like telling a Jake he in Saudi Arabia, and you telling him, you know, you got to keep all the laws. And there's certain laws you'll die out there messing around trying to be an Israelite, man. You'll die out there. Going there wearing fringes in Saudi Arabia, it'd be a wrap for you if they found out why you're doing it. Okay? So what are you to say to him if he genuinely believes, but he's in that situation? Oh, you can't be an Israelite? This is the same argument that was being had in the New Testament. But these guys sit here and carry the Bible and preach the New Testament. We're preaching redemption. We're preaching getting back to our culture to repent and go and work to get salvation. You know, and that all started after the beginning of Yahweh Shai, and the Gentile portion started upon the death and resurrection of Yahweh Shai. All right, when he told Peter to go, you know, the quilt that came down, kill and eat. I'm not eating anything unclean, common or unclean. He was talking about going to Cornelius, which was an Israelite in the Italian band, so he was a part of that culture and a part of that service. Because once you're a part of these, you're part of a military. You know, you're a part of a culture. You gotta, you know, render unto Caesar things unto Caesar. Some things you can do, some things you can't do. We're in Babylon. It's a fact. We always reference what if you see a man that lied with a woman as he lied, a man that lied with a man as he lied with a woman, you're supposed to stone him and put him to death. If you don't walk, you're not obeying that commandment. That's in sin, right? So there's a bunch of sinners out here. Okay, so you can't regulate things that you know, certain, you can't just put a full regulation of the law, statutes, commandments on people, especially so fast and not without considering their plight. Okay, meat sacrifice unto idols. Jake was slaves and they had to eat. I was just watching this show with these people. I don't know, I think in Cambodia, one in Cambodia, but those drinking his honey from these bees. You know what I'm saying? They got them all high and stuff. You know, I think it's like Peru or somewhere. But long story short, they had a process that they did because of their culture. Before they go up to these mountains, they had to sit there and sacrifice a goat and pluck rice. So the guy that was doing the documentary had to partake in that in order to go up there. Right? I'm not saying that, okay, that's a situation we may be in. No, I'm saying that, say you're under that person's servitude. In order to eat that goat meat, you have to watch them pray. You have to pretend to pray, bow your head, you know, because you say, I ain't doing that. You might be put to death or you might not eat. Right? So that's why it says, judge no man either meat or drink, because you had masters that would serve other gods, and they would pray over that meat, and that meat is no more good. It's not no more holy. Okay, as they say, it's not halal. You know, which is a Hebrew word. You know, but there was sacrifices to other gods. He was plucking rice on it. He had to eat that meat in order, and they say you could not drink water until you did that ritual. So you got to think about that. You got Jake that were in Greece and Rome under those stipulations. Okay, but fast forward to this time, you got Jake that skin-wise, you can't just go, oh, shit, you don't want to look like this. Let me go get some skin darkening cream so I can fit more in. So y'all putting rules and regulations on people that they can't adjust to. Okay, if they believe, then they believe. And again, it says, you know, gather them not up. Don't separate them. At least you gather the tears up, man, because it's not our thing, right? In verse 30 it says, let both grow together until the harvest. And in the time of harvest, I will say to the reapers, we not the reapers, right? The Lord may bestow on us because he said, you know, we should be as battle axe and weapons of war, but that's not now. All right. There's going to come a time where the true separation is going to happen. All right. The Lord separating 2/3 from the elect, the wheat from the tares. But we're not here to decide who's a 2/3 yet either. You know what I'm saying? Even though we believe the elect is sealed, you know what I'm saying? Jake still waking up. There's brothers that came in this year, last year. So 3 years ago, we've been saying, hey, the elect is sealed. You know what I'm saying? Which they could be. You know what I'm saying? Which I truly believe they are. I believe in theory that they've been reading, researching. Their spirit is locked in on waking up. It's not like they're in a nigga state of mind and they're parlaying, similar to how my walk was. It wasn't like I'm out here and I'm running in this college and smoking weed and doing all kind of nigga shit. And then, I walk past a prophet and it triggers my spirit based off the Lord's choosing. I don't think it's like that. I think that Jake is searching for the Most High, and they're looking and they're into the stuff that's on the internet and telling you all that, but they just didn't put it all together yet, and they run into one of our camps and then boom, they wake up. That's what I believe. You know what I'm saying? But that's just me speaking as a man. Let's continue on. It says, let both grow together until the harvest, and in the time of harvest I will say to the reapers, gather together first the tares, and bind them and burn in bundles to burn them, but gather the wheat into my barn. So the Lord is going to sift. He's going to separate. That's not our job to do right now. Our job is to preach repentance and preach his gospel directly and correctly so it could wake up those. All right? It says another parable, it's like that's a mustard seed. But so I wanted to get in the harvest. The harvest is pretty much the end times, man. It's the wrap to everything. Okay, and within that harvest, okay, yeah. I'll jump down to 36. Let's get to it. It says, then Yahushua sent the multitude away and went into the house, and his disciples came unto him, saying, declare unto us the parable of the tares of the field. He answered and said unto them, he that soweth the good seed is the Son of Man. All right. The field is the world. The good seed are the children of the kingdom, the Israelites, Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. But the tares are the children of the wicked one, Esau. Okay. The enemy that sowed them is the devil. The harvest is the end of the world. And the reapers are the angels. Okay. Now we may play part because we're angels too, but the spirit is going to let us know who are Israelites and who are not in that time. But we're not in the end. We're in the end. We're in the ladder, but we're not at the point that the true separation to come. All right, just like you walk into the club, not you out, you in, you out, you win. We're in line right now. You feel me? So that time hasn't come. So at the end of the day, Tazariak has no authority to say that. And that had to been corrected. So that's what's happening now. With that being said, we give our praise to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Rachakodash. Double honor to our apostles who are elders who rule well. Blessings and salutations to you brothers out there teaching and enduring truth and sincerity. Shalom.